Comics-related madness presents Enter the Cromnyverse, an anthology featuring a little green dude with a bat.
Yeah, listen, it's me, Crom, the world's first real-life internet troll. So there's a whole gang of creators making an anthology starring yours truly. We're talking 15 creators, 13 stories, another 8 folks creating merchandise, all for your entertainment. Indiegogo is the place you want to go to back this glorious project. This anthology features my lovable self crossing over in today's best independent comic books and graphic novels, causing chaos everywhere I go. In addition, we're going to be offering custom painted shoes, black light tapestries, sketch cards, alternate covers, adorable crocheted mini-me's, original art, and sculptures.
Anyway, back at today, only on Indiegogo.
Secrets, trust, worth. The bond between souls intertwined within otherworldly intrigue. Michaela Jade brings forth the Elite Warrior series, a collection of dark fantasy romance novels set in a twisted world where power lusts in the hearts of men and devotion seduces the souls of women. Warrior's Secret, Warrior's Trust, and Warrior's Worth. Available now at authormichaelajade.com.
The original intention of the film was just for my personal use, but I thought with it being such a unique thing that I'd like to offer it to anybody who wants to see it. On the first visit, Jack took us into his another room, separate room, and there were these brown parcels full of artwork piled up, and he said to me, "You draw like I do." We were in the studio for 5 hours, you know, it was fantastic. And there's this, he's got this desk, and everything he's ever drawn has come from this desk. And then I would just go with the flow, and that's what this film is about. It's just a unique film of him.
He says, "I beat you." He says, "They say we came in under the dead heat." He says, "That's not true because I beat you." And the American said, "Well," he says, "if you like to think so," he says, "but I know a real story." He says, I know I clearly won that one." See? Well, Joe is 6'3", and I was a run, say, from the Lower East Side. And being Joe's partner was an advantage to me because Joe was believable, you know, they would talk to Joe, and the Goodman brothers would get to know him. Martin Goodman owned Marvel at that time. He went to his mother and he says, "Look, Jackie got a job drawing." He says, "They're paying him for it, they're paying him money for drawing." He says, "Suppose I go with Jackie." He says, "And he says, they'll pay me money." He says, "I'll draw and they'll pay me money." He said, "I'll give the money to you," which we did. We gave it all to our mothers. They called me from Nassau. You know, I lived in Long Island. And they say, "Would you like to come down and draw these guys in training?" I swear, this is not a story. And I said, yes, of course, I'd love to come down. And,
Nothing unusual about a 4 a.m. call to a back alley in downtown Kenton. A young woman lying pristine and unmarked on the cold, hard ground. I get to work quickly, but there's not much to go on here. No marks of any kind, no signs of struggle, just a dead Vic in the middle of an alley. And then there's that. Dead body in a dumpster that looks like a grizzly bear has crawled its way out of his stomach.
In a world ravaged by monsters, a new evil has risen, poisoning the land and threatening humanity. Now, the Monster Matador, along with the meanest and baddest kaiju killers, have joined forces to kick its ass. Monster Matador, Afropocalypse.
Hey, yo, it's party time. What's up, what's up, what's up?
Hi, guys.
How you doing, Dave? How you doing, Rex?
I'm okay, Pops, and hopefully Rex is with us.
I think
In a minute.
There
Yeah.
he is. We got Deninja in the chat.
Hello.
We got Shadowhawk Talks. He still backs, but now he talks too. He's saying, hey, Rex, hey, Dave. Got good stuff. Says he can't stay, but just wanted to pop in and give us some love. We love you too, brother. You know what's up.
Indeed.
Good stuff, Shadowhawk.
Nice for you to pop in.
And Vic is alive. He was on the draw stream earlier. Yes, he was. Gentlemen, you got a good show for us today.
I sure hope so.
We do indeed.
What do you got for us, guys?
Right, who wants to start, Rex?
Okay, who started that?
I just like go ahead and set the show up. Tell everybody what you guys are going to be showing off. Introduce yourself. Set the show up so I can get out of here and y'all can do
Okay. Well, I'm Texas Dave. I read comics, collect comics, all things comics, basically. And today's show is about Joe Kubert, the artist.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to dig out a few things to show off on the show, and hopefully Rex has a bit more than I have.
Well, I've got a few.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
And I'm Devil Flyer, and have my own show, Devil Flyer. In fact, had my first guest on yesterday, and we'll have Miss Rena on tomorrow and kind of interview her for her campaign. But before then, we're going to talk about a great artist, right? Joe Kubert created the Joe Kubert School.
Go ahead and drop some of the things that he's like more famous for, so everybody knows what they're getting got. What they got.
A lot of war books, and we'll be showing some of that today. Not just war books, but famous for the Joe Kubert School. That even his sons are graduates of, Andy Kubert, and
I remember seeing the adverts on the back of some of the older comics for that, I think.
Yeah. And I've been getting packets from their school. A lot of CG artists like Andy Smith, Patrick Parnell, Shane Davis are graduate and more. Graham Nolan from way back in the 80s. I think he's an 82 graduate. By then I was still in high school till 84, but I was getting packets all the way back, and I'd see those ads and send them off, and I just didn't want to go to New Jersey to learn how to draw.
You're making me feel. I was going to say that you're making me feel old again. Yeah.
Well, okay, all right. Well,
okay.
we're all a certain age. It's when we don't find somebody older than ourselves that we may be truly old.
All right, well,
I've gotten more old jokes probably because of white hair. If I did dye my hair, I'd lose 10 years probably.
Look, Rex don't have dad jokes. Rex has grandpa jokes.
Well, just because nobody remembers the days of the dinosaur is no reason to rib me.
Yeah, I hear you.
I actually met Alley Oop one time.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
Very good.
Joe Kubert, man, there's so much to talk about him. He started in comics when he was like 16 years old, back in the 30s.
I must admit, I don't know too much about him, Rex, so you'll be able to clue me in a little bit, no doubt.
Well, Golden Age artist, the Hawkman, Voltan, I believe was the first thing he worked on. I'm not sure. Like I said, he started when he was like 16, 17, I think 16, in comics.
Right.
That's young, you could get into professional comics like Siegel and Schuster that did Superman at they were 16, 17.
They were, yeah.
They were doing their own comics when they were, more like 12 and 13, probably. Just never got anything, published. But, a little bit more modern, come up to the 60s. You got Jim Shooter. He wrote when he was 13. His parents drove him up to DC Comics to sign the contract. They had to be there to help, as his guardians, to sign a contract to get paid from DC Comics, writing Legion of Superheroes.
Right.
13 in junior high, and writing professional comics. Wow. And now we've got old men like me that would love to, not necessarily draw for Marvel or DC anymore, but or write for Marvel and DC because they went, kind of south. But back in the day, we all wanted to. Man, I'd like to, nope, not today.
Nope, not today.
Not today. That's right.
Guys, I'm gonna back out. I'm gonna let you do your thing. Have a great show.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Pops. We'll see you in a bit.
It's just a preview for next week. We're going to talk about John Buscema, right? And then
I believe
then we'll go on to something else. Yeah.
No, I was just going to check with you there, Rex. Do we actually have a show next week with it being CromCon? Because I wasn't sure whether we were or we weren't.
Check with Pops. Pops, are we going to have one?
Oh, yes. There will be both the open draw stream and the show ops are now a regular fixture in CromCon. I'm not changing the schedule unless, we have to for some reason,
Because I wasn't 100% sure if we were having one next week as usual at the usual time, with being CromCon.
Definitely. Look, this is part of the show now, man. This is part of the network. We're not busting you guys' schedule just because I got the big show. We just make you part of the big show.
Okay.
Right?
That's fine. Yeah. That's fine. Just double checking. So it's John Buscema, yeah? Next week?
John Buscema. Yeah.
Right.
I probably have more on him than any other artist in my collection.
Well, that's good because I've got a bit of stuff as well. So we should be all right next week.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, just talk about Joe Kubert a little bit in
Mhm.
his history. He drew like the first Sergeant Rock. Uh,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. Did you read any? I wasn't a big war person. Now I have a friend
No,
that's
I
what he
must admit,
liked.
I was going to say I wasn't a big fan of war comics myself, but
Uh-huh.
I kind of got into the Sergeant Fury ones a bit more than the Sergeant Rock.
Yeah, yeah. Howling Commandos. Was
Yeah,
that
that's the
because of
ones.
Jack Kirby or you
Yeah,
were? But now
yeah.
you're a DC guy, aren't you?
No, I'm more
Primarily.
Marvel. I'm
Oh, you're
actually
more
more,
Marvel. Well, we
yeah,
have that in common. Wonder Twin
because
powers activate.
yeah, because when I was growing up, when I was at school, there was a shop I used to go in when I was about 12, 13, and they had a pile of all kinds of different Marvels and DCs, and I must admit, I always tended to go for the Marvels, so I kind of just grew up on those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but
my
I do
friend.
have a selection of DCs.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
so
George Perez that we talked about and tributed,
did a
flip
tribute
that,
show for. Yeah,
that we honored. How about that?
that sounds
Uh,
good.
yeah. Last week,
Yeah.
because he sadly passed away during last week.
Hmm.
Um, kind of in a roundabout way, like I said last week, got me into comics. It was his Avengers artwork, and then just
That's right. I remember we were talking about that. Yeah.
yeah, his Avengers art, and this was his early stuff. This wasn't, refined
Hmm.
George Perez, although he was very good early on.
It was.
And I did not know, but somebody told me that he was the understudy of Rich Buckler. Um,
Right.
Another
Okay.
gentleman that I really enjoyed but didn't know about that time. In fact, looking
Hmm.
at that first Avengers comic, the cover wasn't that great. It was intriguing to me because I didn't know what was going on, and it had a lot of characters.
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty weak Avengers cover, 147.
Hmm.
What?
I
What,
got
Pop?
I just found a little something special that I got. I have our
Okay.
Army at War.
Yeah.
All right.
Joe Kubert.
Hmm.
I got a few of those, man.
Ah.
But yeah, I'm just looking through the old collection and seeing what I got. And
So did you, how do you do that, Pops? Do you photograph your collection and then put them in files or?
I use the app Stash My Comics.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
It's
I think I've heard of
free.
that.
Yeah, it's free. It's just a database, and you enter and see like way back when my son and I started this fourth collection of mine. Now it's mine and his, but when we started it, we bought a collection of like 2,200 books, and
Right.
it was like I needed a free way to catalog them, and I found that app and I started, and now there's like 6,600 in our collection that we have cataloged in that app. I just went and typed war in the report.
Mm-hmm.
Our Army at War came up, and there's Joe Kubert.
Can you, in that program, do you have a picture of the covers?
I do. I don't know if I can blow it up or not, though. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
I know that I used to have an online free app.
I'll save. What I'll do is I'll save the image, and then I'll add it to the.
Well, he worked real closely with the DC colorist. In fact, he was, I think, the vice president of, I'm not sure, the vice president of, let's see, I've got one of his certificates here, so maybe it'll tell me. Jack Adler collection. Probably be seeing a bunch from that. Oh, yeah, that is just such a classic.
I know. I was like, oh, I'm glad I got that one. That's like a beat up nickel, a beat up buffalo nickel.
Mm-hmm. And Jack Adler probably colored that, but nobody knows his name. In fact, when
it doesn't even say on here.
in the early.
I'd have to dig the
Yeah.
book out. I don't think I want to do that. That's one of them old ones. I want to leave alone.
Well, they didn't even put credits in a lot of those.
No, I was going to say that. A lot of
I was 5 years old when that book came out.
Yeah.
5 years old.
What year was that, Pops?
68.
68. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have that one myself, but that's a wonderful, one of the better covers, I think.
I haven't seen that cover myself. Yeah.
I don't have a lot, but I have a few.
Jerry Granetti, Irv Novak, that did Spider-Man later in the 80s. You know, and some of the lesser titles, if you will. Yeah, multi panels. Now that's a 70s Bronze Age.
Yeah.
60
pages.
center. One of the first comics I ever got, really at a garage sale or whatever, was one of those 60 centers. It wasn't Sergeant Rock. It was they did a Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah.
With the early Jim Shooter stories in it when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea when I read that I was reading some kid stuff because.
And then you'll like this one too.
Yeah.
Everything's on fire. Everything.
Yeah. I mean, he will always be synonymous with Sergeant Rock, which was in Our Army at War. And then later the title became Sergeant Rock, like maybe in the late 70s.
Mm-hmm.
But it was Our Army at War for a long time. And like DC, when Blackhawk didn't start out at DC. They just bought the characters' rights, you know, from another company. Quality, I think it was. The early ones are Quality Comics in the numbering, and then DC buys it out, and Blackhawk goes over to DC, which was National Comics.
Yeah,
and I don't think it would officially became DC Comics maybe till the late 80s.
Right, I'm going to kick off. I'm going to kick off with my Joe Kubert.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
You know, that is a playoff. I don't know if you know it, but that right there, that cover is a playoff substituting Joe Kubert. He did something similar to that in Sergeant Rock.
Oh, okay.
Where Sergeant Rock was kind of like in the past, in the future, and that's probably Tor that he created in the late 50s.
Yeah.
Which was in a 3D comic, you know, Tor 3D. It might have been his first appearance. I don't know, but it was the 3D craze.
So I don't know if you've seen this book or not, but that's the first page.
Yeah, that's his iconic signature, but it changed over time. Sometimes he would just put Kubert. Sometimes it would be block lettering.
Right. Okay.
But now after he created, he had that signature, but he kind of went with that for his school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pops definitely needs to, like I say, we've got a lot of Kubert graduates that would like to see this.
Yeah.
So definitely put that in your subtitle. Yeah, there's the DC special.
Yeah.
And look at that. Just pictures of his desk, lights and everything.
Let's see that.
Yeah. He's surrounded by the characters that he helped create. He asked Jack Adler to the colorist, and that was vice president of production, to help him open up his Joe Kubert school.
Right.
And he declined to do so. But now he worked very close with Jack Adler, but that's a name that few people know. And sadly, people within comics don't know the name of Joe Kubert. He's created many artists through his school.
Yeah. And here's the Sergeant Rock page.
Indeed. And there were some prototype issues, you know. Sergeant Rock he was just like Rock, you know,
What called Navy and Air
and
Force.
yeah, and he was a different rank than sergeant at
Yeah,
first.
Marines.
Mm-hmm.
A few different ones there. And a few superhero ones too, of course.
Yeah. Like I say, he did Hawkman in the Golden Age,
Mm-hmm.
Atomic Age, which is the 50s,
Yeah.
and then the 60s. I didn't even pull my Brave and the Bold. That was the first appearance of Hawkman, unless
And
it's
you've
in
got
Arms
the
Reach. But
Enemy Ace as well.
Enemy Ace did Enemy Ace with
Yeah.
Neil Adams
Yeah.
one time. I know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a couple times.
Yeah.
Because Neil Adams wasn't really known for war books.
No, I don't think he was, to be honest, now that you come to mention
He
it.
did do a few though.
But whether you've seen this book before, I'm not sure, Rex.
Don't think I have. That one there. It'll probably talk about the process. Like that's production artwork down there at the bottom where he's got the Hitler mask. Hitler mask. Yeah. I might have that one in my collection.
Some nice examples of various ones he's done, you know.
He did a lot of covers, and we'll look at some covers now. I do have that early Hawkman. That is that stamp there, and I actually have that stamp too.
Wow.
That's like the first appearance of Shadow Thief, I think, or like maybe the. Mm-hmm. Just having my daily orange juice.
Oh, good.
There's his sons.
Keepers of the Flame, Adam
and Andy Kubert.
Yeah, on Facing the Future.
And they're both artists themselves. They've drawn X-Men and you name it, just all types of titles and covers. Yeah. Watchmen covers. And
so that's another picture here.
What year did this book come out? Oh, I have that. I've shown that. I've actually that magazine, that artist magazine.
Yeah,
and it features Andy.
Yeah.
One figure is Andy Kubert. One figure is drawn by Joe Kubert, and one by Adam Kubert. Right. And I had that magazine, and I actually have a trailer that was just made, and we'll watch that. You'll see that magazine.
Well, this magazine was printed. This book I've got was printed in July 2013. So,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what year.
Yeah, 2013, Rex. This magazine.
Okay.
Yeah. So about 9 years ago.
Yeah, it's probably pretty comprehensive because. Does it mention in there when he passed away?
No,
I have that Wolverine cover too.
Have you? Oh.
Yeah. That was like number 600, I think. Wolverine number 600, maybe?
I'm not sure.
600 or 700.
It says number 300, Wolverine 300.
I was off. Okay. 300. I had that.
Yeah. Really good drawing, that.
Mm-hmm.
You see a lot of detail.
You know, it must have been rewarding to kind of teach his children how to draw. And they were graduates from the Kubert School and got professional work. And he was able to ink their stuff.
Yeah.
Or they were able to ink his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's the brothers.
Yeah. Another Sergeant Rock one there.
Arm wrestling.
Yeah.
And you know their work, I think, has a flavor to it. You know, the Kubert School of Joe Kubert's work itself. So it's nice that he, through his sons, created two others. You know, two professional, and they're great artists both. You know, in their own right.
Well, that's it. That's it.
Passing on that Kubert name, that Kubert legacy of artwork. Yeah, that's when they were young. So it's good that book features their mother and their family.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice comprehensive book, to be honest. A couple of black and white pages here as well, a couple of reproductions. There's that one there. And there's that one there. Let's see what else we've got. A couple more. I'm just about getting the hang of where to hold the book for the camera. Flash drawing. And we're getting into Tarzan as well now. Nice Tarzan page.
Drew Tarzan for DC Comics in the 70s. A bunch of Tarzan.
Yeah. So there's a lot of detail, isn't there, in that drawing? That's that one. What else we got?
I'm glad to see that you're taking it easy and not getting such a workout like last week with that huge book
Well,
you were trying.
I was going to say this book is a lot lighter.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot lighter than the ones I had last week, I must admit.
So when you get a book like that, 3D comics, he was in on that. The 3D craze in the movies and the comics in the early 50s, around 53.
Yeah.
The first Creature from the Black Lagoon movie was in 3D.
Yeah.
Hondo by John Wayne was in 3D.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of 3D movies came out.
Yeah, there was actually. Some more on the next page.
Very colorful. Very colorful.
Moments in War.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he'd work in animals like that little puppy there, dogs. Yeah. You know, the thing that got me about that I've got to give him really props for, Dave, was the machinery, like that tank.
Yeah.
The biplanes, the blimps, the machine guns, the helmets, the costumes.
Yeah, there was a lot of detail.
Well, something that he didn't, Ragman was another one he did in the 70s, and that looks like Ragman there in the back.
All right.
Enemy Ace and Sergeant Rock, maybe Tarzan. These are all, you know, kind of what he's known for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that is Ragman. Are you familiar with Ragman?
Not really, no, not too much.
He came out in the 70s. Yeah.
I've got a page here though of Ragman.
Yeah. I think he was Jewish, you know, and yeah, you need to check out Ragman. They probably have just a trade paperback on him, probably. Yeah. I need to see if they have a trade paperback on him. He's still kind of inspiring.
Hawkman as well.
Hawkman, big Hawkman artist. And that one you have your finger on is the first Silver Age appearance.
Is it?
I'm glad you showed that one. I actually have a copy of that. That's one of the key things that I was able to pick up on eBay a few years back.
Right.
And the second appearance, I think, with the caveman cover. Because they had a run in Brave and the Bold, tryout issues. There's maybe the first appearance of Shadow Thief, and that was the one that was made into a stamp. Love books like that are comprehensive. I think I had that one there with the hawks with the faces. One of the weirdest thing in the comics that I saw early on. A hawk with kind of a mask on.
Right.
Or an eagle, whatever they were.
Yeah.
It was still strange to my sensibilities. I think that might have been in a early reprint book that I saw. It's good that they mix black and white with color.
It is, It's nice to see the different ones, the different examples. Son of Tomahawk.
Son of Tomahawk. Yeah, this is a good setup for some of the stuff I'm going to show.
Yeah.
So,
good.
Son of Tomahawk, I believe. What's
Mhm.
below there? Yeah.
That's,
Korak. Yeah.
Son of Tarzan.
Son of Tarzan, Korak. Yep. Most
it.
people aren't familiar with that title, but it was in the 70s, in the Bronze Age of comics.
There's even a Red Sonja drawing there.
Yeah, Red Sonja. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that looks like he hand colored that piece.
Yeah, it says, it actually says about it. It says, poster from the mid 1970s depicting Red Sonja as envisioned by Frank Thorne, about a definitive version as one gets with the Roy Thomas Barry Windsor Smith created character.
You were talking about a highly detailed, but I through CG and the people that have talked about him, like Graham Nolan and Andy Smith and others on their shows, they talk about his lack of detail in the feet.
Right.
It's kind of like a running joke because he says no need to put a lot of detail into the feet because people know what a foot looks like. You just need to indicate it and people will fill in the blanks. And that was the great thing about him. He was opposite of George Perez. He said, you don't have to fill it. That's Wildcat, early Wildcats piece. Was that ever published?
Let's see. Courtesy of Heritage Auctions, here's a description of this delightful drawing. Irwin Hasson Golden Age Wildcat Speciality Illustration Original Art from 1941. It's there. So that's quite nice.
Oh, yeah, I've not seen that piece.
Talking of feet.
Yeah, Lover Boy. Yeah, he could do comedic stuff, just like, Neil Adams, just like Frank Frazetta, he did Al Cat.
Right. Yeah.
There's Fred Hembeck, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Fred Hembeck page.
Yeah. So I've got that one.
And we got to remember people like Fred Hembeck. I know, like early 60s, he got like a letter published by DC Comics. And when you get that particular book, it says letter by Fred Hembeck because he later became, look at that chain, man. The perspective. Yeah, from the foreground to the, wow.
Fantastic, that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the guy was quick. He could be detailed or he could be a minimalist. He knew how to convey a story.
He did.
He got it started young and he ended late in the day. He was like 80 something when he passed away. Sadly.
Right, okay.
So a good long full
art. Yeah. Some original art.
Yeah. The behind the scenes stuff is what people like to see, like that how did they produce this, the stuff that's not so clean, that has notes by it,
That's it, exactly.
Or maybe the character's a different color than he winds up in the book.
Yeah. I mean, I always find these behind the scenes pages very interesting, I must admit.
Well, they're informative, right, about the process and how things are produced.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
They are indeed. There you go.
Oh, is that DC Comics Presents with Superman and the Demon?
I think it might be.
Etrigan, yeah. Do I know my little postage stamp covers, or do I know my postage stamp covers?
I think you know them.
Yeah. Oh, he did PS too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Tank Ferret is all about PS. When he was in the military, he used to receive those. Will Eisner worked on that for years.
That was the 700th issue of Sergeant Rock and Company. That one.
Wow.
And there's another one on the other page as well there.
Yeah, what a thrill, man. Those would have to be hard to find. Hard to find. Issued to the military, I guess.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
The preventive maintenance, something.
Monthly. That's it.
Yeah, monthly. They made it
Monthly.
sexy for the troops, you know. They had it was kind of like OSHA in a magazine. Sir Jordan.
Jordan. Yeah.
Wonder who published that. Does it say?
Let's have a look. Yeah, inspired by metal hurlant work coming from Europe, Joe Kubert experimented with different formats, including the short-lived but spectacular Sojourn tabloid. That was 1977.
I'm familiar with Metal Hurlant. You know, they've actually had a movie called Metal Hurlant.
There's another
based
cover.
on Two-Fisted Zombies. Yeah.
Yeah. That's another black and white page.
Yeah. Really, I mean, there's so much you can pick. You know, he and Joe Kubert and another artist, can't remember who the third artist is right offhand, but in Sea Demons, they actually drew themselves into the Sea Demons story.
Right.
So Joe Kubert shows up at their shop and meets the Sea Demons, the fictional characters. Most people don't remember Sea Demons nowadays unless they know 60s comics, early 60s comics, but had some awesome covers that are valuable now because of Jack Adler's gray tone covers. GI Combat had a lot of gray tone covers. Jack Adler was the one that created the gray tone process.
Right.
And they worked hand in hand, Joe Kubert and Jack Adler. Like I said, when he was thinking about opening the Kubert School, yeah, that Assassinate Hitler was probably from that same issue that you were showing the cover to earlier.
Yeah.
Unknown Soldier, yeah,
Yep.
was another one he worked on.
And Fire Hair.
And Fire Hair, yeah, kind of Western.
Yeah, I think it is.
He did all kinds of genre, and anybody that knew anything about him knew he loved to draw dinosaurs as well.
Yeah. I think this is a nice page.
Oh, yeah.
If I can get the light right. There you go.
And some of his later stuff were like chalk drawings or pastel drawings, you know, pastel
That's
covers.
right. Yeah.
He worked in different media when he, you know.
There's another color page.
Yeah. Look at that. People talk about Frank Miller's Sin City and the rain and all. Look at that.
That's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I was not a big lover of Joe Kubert growing up, but now that I've matured and like sour wine aging into a little bit more palatable stuff, I really, you know, as time goes by, I appreciate Joe Kubert more and more and more for what he did. You know,
well, that's it. I think sometimes as you get older, you know, you grow to love some of these various types of artists and drawings.
Oh, I didn't like Steve Ditko, and I even had the same birthday as Steve Ditko. But now I appreciate Steve Ditko. You know, somebody about your age probably got some of those early Spider-Man, huh?
No,
no, not that old, not that far back.
Not that old.
Yeah, it's good that it's got some portraiture of him in there.
Anyway, I'm going to pass it over to you, Rex, for a little while and let you show me a few things I've not seen.
Okay, well, this set I'm getting ready to show you is not even owned by me. I'm just keeping it for my friend. I've had it for, since he bought it. And it's kind of unique to my collection, although it's not even mine. I'm just kind of the holder of it.
You're just kind of looking after it.
Looking after it for him. I have an old bank safe that I was able to secure, and it's these, I think it's like 10 pieces, 10 or 11 pieces. And they must have went with a different company. They published out of Sparta, Illinois. This is a color separation, but it's different from any other I've seen. It's kind of mimeographed or copied, and it's in so many different sections. Now, this would be the black here. Sergeant Rock.
Yeah.
Cover. So we're going to be seeing the same images, but see, they've whited out here the dialogue. They've whited this dialogue out here. It's like they worked on these different plates. Has some notes on the back here. It's April. It's saying received, the manufacturing department, Alco Gravier, April 15th, 1971. And it says number 277652, maybe in May, cover, and in quotes, comics. Anyway, this was a Sergeant Rocker, or Our Army at War, really, was the title. Cover, I can't tell you what issue yet because it's not on this plate, but you see this, they just have certain things like in red or highlighted. Right. This BLK tells me it was the black stage of it.
Yeah.
And then we have a yellow stage, vastly different.
Yeah.
In red, and it's amazing the length. Without these pieces, this comic would not be produced. That's why it's
exactly
called,
because there was different layers.
Different layers to create the comic. This would indicate the yellow. But what's amazing about this piece is that the lengths they whited all this out except what they wanted indicated in red for the yellow stage. It's different than any other production art, separation that I've seen.
It is a different way, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's laborious. I don't know why they did it this way, actually. Another stage, look, they painted all this out and just have a few things indicated. This is for the tone blue, and they've even put 50% there, marked it out, 40%. They're all stamped as received when they're received on the back. It has a stamp, some notation.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
And you can flip it around. You can see this has all been painted, on the other side here, whited out. Why they did it this way, I don't know. This is not a very economic way to do it.
Not really.
Maybe cheaper on paper.
Maybe back then it was.
Yeah, like, shown this before. This is the same thing, but and they did color guides, and I have other color guides that are stapled together from DC Comics or National Comics, as they were called, that you just flip and you have like a sienna level, a blue level, a red level, a black level, which is the line artwork. But sometimes it's like on plastic, like this Avengers 4, and it just has the different levels to it.
Yeah.
And this seems to me more of an economical way to do it. But this here has like 10 or 11 different pieces. I can't remember exactly. This is the red at 25%. They whited it out again with red. To produce one comic cover. And you would still have approval cover, untrimmed approval cover with the ads printed inside and on the back cover. You would still have the file copy. You would still have the colored piece. There's there's 5 different stages to making a comic back then. And this is just one of them, and it's got so many plates. It's amazing. and they're not even, they're just kind of loose. It looks copied or mimeographed. They whited out a bunch of stuff and just just indicated the little details on what would be on the layer. Like I say, a very unique set. Just this,
So where did you acquire those, Rex?
this stuff was torn up eBay. I think he bought it on eBay.
Right.
He paid $500 for like 10 pieces that used to be just scrapped. It wasn't cheap. This is a one of a kind item. The production artwork or a stage of it and frankly, if you put this up for sale at $500, what he gave for it for years ago, it would probably just sit there. Even though this is a one of a kind item, even though now this is a little bit more prestigious because it's a key issue. And of course, the movies, Avengers, number 4, right? First Captain America in comics, right? I mean, in the Silver Age.
Yeah.
He had not been seen since the 50s, early 50s.
That's right.
Because Captain America did survive to at least the early 50s. Here's like the blue stage, a certain blue stage, Now, this would be impressive if you did one long piece and could see the differences side by side.
Yeah.
But like I say, with all the production art that I bought through the years and my friends bought, this is a unique thing.
Yeah, it certainly
this
seems
has
to
probably
be.
been in my safe for a decade, He even forgot that he had it in there. I forgot I had it in there. It just stayed in its original wrapper all that time since he gave it to me. Untouched,
Somebody's asking if you remember the old clay comics, Rex. Clowsy Lee.
Old clay tablet comics in cuneiform. Yes, I invented that.
Right.
Yeah. I've studied it anyway. There was a big library talking about that. There was a big library that was preserved. It had a fire, and so that fire baked those clay tablets. And when the archaeologists discovered it, over 2,000 letters and books and things like that were preserved.
Right.
It didn't destroy them. It's amazing. Within maybe 200 years, our civilization, if we just disappeared off the planet, within 200 years, all our skyscrapers, all our DVDs and everything else would be gone. Basically, they even had a show on the History Channel about how things would disappear over time. But like the stuff made out of stone tablets or clay tablets and stone, like the Egyptian pyramids, they're here thousands, maybe tens of thousands of years later. So they had the ancient world had a way of preserving their history, didn't they?
They sure did. And then with the cave paintings and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it still lasts today, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Because it's made out of a durable substance. Stuff like this was not looked at as valuable till about 1982. And even today, it's underrated. If you think about original pencils, original inks, we call that original art, right?
Absolutely.
Well, that's the first stage of production art. It's really production art. And it it was scrapped. It was destroyed. It's the most prominent of production artwork. Oh, I own original artwork. Okay. But it's still, and it might be a one-off. Maybe it was never published. I own some unpublished original pieces, but it's, if it ever, it's one stage really of production art, right? Of getting something produced.
Yeah.
Whether it's published or not. Here's the last stage of that. And I'm still not sure what issue this is. It tells up here Our Army at War, but I believe that had 10 stages. I'll just get this out of the way here. Huh?
Quite a few stages there then.
Quite a few stages just to make one cover and a lot of whiteout. It's amazing. The laborious, we like, I just have to have some old Marvel artwork that I featured yesterday on my show. This is from the Bronze Age, not the Stone Age, the Bronze Age of comics, 1970s, 1975 actually. This is number 2, November 1975. Steve Gann, I believe, was the artist. Anyway, it's Skull the Slayer, number 2.
Oh, yeah.
So,
know that.
This is really production artwork.
Yeah.
Although this is called original artwork, this is the stage that everybody wants.
Yeah.
Because
it's like some of the books, some of the artist edition books that I have are very similar to that page you hold.
Yeah, I mean, if they were going to do a artist edition on like this work, they would need this page scanned and whatnot. And hopefully they scanned it before they destroyed it. But often this was just torn in half, burned, shredded, and
such a shame.
As we talked about, Neil Adams was instrumental in getting them to stop that practice. He came in, this guy was shredding something. He said, "What are you shredding?" He said, "Oh, this artwork." He's like, "Stop, don't shred another piece. I'll be right back." And he leaves and he comes back and the guy's still shredding stuff. And but this is worth more money to people, original artwork, which is really production artwork.
Well, that's right.
Whether you ever get it published or not. And that people put a premium price on. And I still think it's too low in some cases. But this, like here, even to a key issue.
Yeah.
I mean, the comic book, which was mass produced, would garner more money than this one-of-a-kind item.
Yeah.
What's up with that? This thing here ought to be priceless.
Absolutely.
And as far as his comic history, and I mean, it's supply and demand.
Yeah.
Something can be so rare that there's not a demand for it. And for decades, there was up to about 1982, the early 80s. And then collectors was like, man, we need to start saving this stuff. This stuff's one of a kind stuff. It's valuable. But up to that time, they just didn't look at it that way, apparently. And it's really sad that, original artwork gets all the love, but production artwork hardly ever. That's why I have a lot of it. Not that it's cheap. Those 10 stages that you normally would be scrapped, burned, thrown away. They're one-of-a-kind items. Once it was gone, it was gone. When you see something pre-1982 like this, or like that 10-page story, most of the stuff was destroyed. That's why it's valuable.
Exactly.
Or has some value.
Well, I've got another set to show you here.
Okay.
Look at these. This is the first one.
There you go.
It was
That's what I'm talking about. Like the chalk drawing.
Limited series, So
yeah, and that particular one I don't. Okay, so is that a trade paperback?
No, it's just a normal comic size
comic.
Issue.
Okay, that's the one I don't have.
So this
I think with Hawkman, I might have it, but
so this is the first issue, and that's what was in it.
Yeah, Angel and the Ape, Spit, USS Stevens, Hawkman. Just a mixture. That was some of the last stuff he did before he passed away.
Is it? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was some of his latter stuff.
Well, this was published in 2012.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't know if anybody Googled to see exactly when he passed away, but that's pretty close to the year he passed away.
It's this double splash page. There.
Love you too, Lee.
And we've got
Pop says he's acquired 5 pieces of published art so far.
all right. Okay. There's another page there. Angel and
Yeah.
V8.
Love the coloring on that. That's almost like marker color.
Yeah, it is a bit, isn't it? It reminds me a bit of watercolor as well.
Yeah.
Go over there.
Well, markers generally are water. I mean, some of them are water based if they're not alcohol based. That's the Angel and Ape stuff.
It is.
Which made their first appearance in Showcase.
Yeah.
So many characters made their appearance in Showcase. Joe Kubert, I think, might have drew G.I. Joe too, when it was over at DC.
And that's Spit.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at the detail in that.
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of like Will Eisner.
Yeah. I was just going to say
and the Spirit.
It's very similar, isn't it?
Uh-huh. It's got that tone to it.
Yeah. Just turn the page over for a bit more.
Turn the page.
That one. A couple more pages for you. I mean, just look at the detail in that face.
Yeah.
And
but it was the medium that he was working in, like chalk.
Yeah.
Spit, yeah. Done like and he served in the military.
Yeah, I believe so.
So he had firsthand knowledge, kind of like Jack Kirby, of what it was like to serve and the different military vehicles. I have that one.
That's the second issue, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Opens out.
Yeah,
again.
those really stood out to me because that's not your standard medium that he worked in. Usually it's pencil and ink.
Yeah.
And these are like pastel or chalk.
Indeed.
Gray toned, ink maybe there, but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these had wonderful covers on them. Yeah.
They sure did. With them being the wraparound covers as well,
Mm-hmm.
Another inside page for you for that one.
I don't know how successful they were, but it really was a pretty nice little book at the time. Yeah. Maybe Pops can Google and see exactly when Joe Kubert passed away.
Yeah, because I'm not sure myself, to be honest, on that one.
Yeah.
There's another double page.
In fact, in one of those issues, a friend is pictured with, I forget who it is, but he's pictured with Joe Kubert. And while that comic was produced, his friend passed away. Right. So they kind of put a tribute in one of those comics.
Right.
Inside 2012. And didn't you say those came out in 2012?
I think I did.
Yeah. Like I said, that was maybe the last thing he worked on, or one of the last things.
I think you might be right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because at the back of issue number 4, which I'm looking at now.
So that is mature Joe Kubert stuff. That's some of the last stuff he did.
30 years later. So
he came out within the 80s comic for DC Comics called the Kubert, like the portfolio from the it was probably like some of his around Graham Nolan's age now.
Right.
Because it came out around 82 when he graduated. Some of his students' work done, for DC for that book, which was a portfolio book.
Right. Okay.
I can't remember. It might have been published by Pacific Comics, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one's wonderful. I don't think I had that one. I don't have that whole series, but
yeah, there was only
I got a few.
There was only 6 issues, Rex, so I managed to get the full set.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's in that one.
Let me ask you this hard question,
Hmm.
which is kind of stupid because you got the stuff. Do you like Joe Kubert and his stuff?
I must admit, I like his style. I'm not so keen on some of the war stuff, as I said. I've sort of read more superhero stuff, but I must
Yeah.
admit, when you see drawings like that,
Yeah.
It
almost brings back the bombing of the Arizona, on Pearl Harbor.
Yeah. So, yeah, really drew it well, I think. There's another few pages of art in this comic as well. I like that picture. I think that's really good.
Yeah, it is nice.
Very atmospheric, isn't it?
Absolutely. Done in silhouette.
Yeah. And then there's another double page. I'm just trying to get the light right because the light's starting to go here in the UK. It's
on those glossy pages.
Yeah. Yeah, they can be a bit tricky, can't they?
That is really nice the way they worked in the text there, and then they just penciled in buildings around the text. It looks like a wonderful, wonderful book.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. The biker, there we go.
And can you show the cover again on that book?
Yeah, of course can. It was a wraparound cover, as you can see.
Okay. Yeah, that's one I don't think I have in my collection. Yeah,
that's five of 6. So
some of the last stuff he did.
This is the last issue of the set.
Sort of Moby Dickish, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. I would certainly say it probably is. And this one has some Commandy in it as well, I think.
And for the viewers out there, what was that series called?
It's called Joe Kubert Presents 6-issue series.
What an honor to his life. But right before he died, he got to put his brand on there, his name, Joe Kubert. He was so well known by then.
There we go.
Joe Kubert Presents an anthology of vastly different stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hawkman, Angel and Ape, and the Hawkman wasn't in all of them.
No, that's true. I'm just looking at there's the Commandy one there.
Commandy, there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
The Last Boy on Earth.
Yeah. I'll show you another couple of pages of that one.
Yeah. And look, one panel's like blue, a couple panels are green, and then you go to they're predominantly monotone in color, aren't they?
Yeah, they're kind of this one's more or less the same kind of colors throughout.
But it's effective storytelling, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The color does. It's like the following page is more sort of green.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. And then that's the final page.
Yeah, and look at that. Different whales that he drew. Oh, that's Etrigan, the demon.
Yeah.
Up in the tree.
That's it. So yeah, really nice book. And then you've got your center. This is a fantastic drawing. I don't know if you can how well you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's got everything in it.
Kind of like Where's Waldo?
Yeah, that's
Find Waldo. I see Mr. Mixoplick there and Santa Claus and an elephant, a blind man, it looks like.
Or over here it would be Where's Wally?
Yeah. And Angel and Apes in there, I see.
Yeah, there's all sorts in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Save the whales, there you go. Global warming ain't cool.
Well, yeah.
Really good, that. Right, back to you, Rex.
Okay. Well, a little shift of gears here. Here is Challenge of the Unknown 79.
Okay.
With the cover.
Just wait
by
for
Joe
Pops
Kubert.
I'm just waiting for Pops to switch you over. to the big
Okay.
screen. Oh, there we go.
And
Cheers, Pops.
a gorilla cover. Gorilla covers, they found out early on, kids love to buy
I believe
gorilla
so.
covers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here's a giant gorilla chasing them into the water.
Mm-hmm. Challenges of the unknown.
The Monster Maker.
So was that in the 1970s, that one?
1970s Bronze Age. This is the comic book to this. It's not a file copy, but it's the comic book to Challengers of the Unknown. This is the finished product. What you could buy off the stands back then for a whopping
20 cents.
Huge 20 cents.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to show you a couple pieces that helped make this book.
Ah.
Now, this is my piece.
Mm-hmm.
This is my friend's piece. Okay.
Yep.
In between both of us, we, kind of bought from the same dealer. He got me buying from him and got me on it. Here's a notation. Where are the words of thee? Because mine just says this is an early approval cover. Cover. They'll pull it off the line. They'll check the quality. They'll check the colors. It's missing. It just says Challengers Unknown. And they made a note here. Where are the words of the also no issue number on this?
Right.
So this was an early pull. Whoops. We need to, and this is printed, So making a mistake, missing a couple words, missing the issue number. We got to have that.
Right.
Now the publishers didn't put this note on here. Actually, my friend and I've just left it on here.
Yeah.
But if you compare it with the book, see any differences besides those missing words? There's black up here.
Yeah.
Instead of white.
That's right. Yeah, you can see that.
Also, you can see the gorilla is a little darker here in the book when it was finally printed than here. There's just this was an early pull, and then here's the final pull of the untrimmed approval cover. That means the ads would be in here. It's untrimmed. It's a little bit larger, but there is the two side by side. The one I own, that's an early pull that has no words. The letters are, instead of being backed up in white, they went with red. Also, it has no Challengers of the Unknown written here, like under there, in white. That is not, that's missing here. So they didn't even make a, or my friend didn't even make a notation there on that. It's interesting to look at the two and see the differences. And just like actually on my version, the blacks and the, he's the darker ape really comes out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in the final publishing, it's more like my friends. It still came out good, but it's a little bit more recognizable here.
It is.
It's a lighter on this, but on the two here, mine is actually lighter and his is darker.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's variance even between what was finally published.
Talking of lighter, my partner just popped up and put my light on for me because I was fading out.
Oh, okay. Now here's another one, Our Fighting Forces, featuring the losers, Captain Storm, Johnny Cloud, Gunner, and Sarge. And this is the painted stage that was painted by Jack Adler, Joe Kubert's great friend, and it's signed by Jack Adler.
Right.
But it is Joe Kubert work.
Very nice too.
My friend has or had one of these Adlers that was actually signed by Joe Kubert. And I actually had, till I sold it, bought it and resold it.
Hmm.
I had a signed Joe Kubert thing. I might still have it.
Hmm.
I don't
Mhm.
know because I don't think I have. Now, this is my favorite. This is one of my favorites in the Jack Adler collection. People like to, collect the checker top stuff that was out for about a year at DC. Well,
Yeah.
here is an early pool, and there's a story behind me getting this one. Um, my friend bought it. It arrived at his house. He liked the painted stuff like that was actually hand painted. That's what he
Yeah.
wanted, you
Mhm.
know. Uh, and this wasn't. This was just printed. So he sent it back. He put it back up for sale, and then I bought it a week later, you know. And
Right.
it's a gem. Why he ever gave it up, I don't know. It's a beautiful cover
Mm.
because it's one of the most colorful covers. Look at the range of purples, blues, orange, white, even black and white checker top cover. And it
Yeah.
deals with two things that were happening in the 60s: war and
Mhm.
racism,
Yeah.
right? Were two big
Yeah.
topics.
They
It
were.
deals with that all on this cover.
Wow.
This is set back in World War II as a story, but if it was Vietnam, it would
Mm.
hit all three big notes.
It would.
War, Vietnam, and the civil rights movement, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
just look how colorful the
Yeah.
logo,
Mhm.
everything is on that.
I remember those DC comics when they had I think they called them checker go-go stripes or something like
Checker
that. At the top.
go. They even run
Yeah. It was
ads about them at the
something like
time.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, they have certificate of authenticity, which are really nice.
Mhm.
Um, this is a unique one in my collection, and I believe this was a Christmas gift to me from my friend. Um,
Mhm.
it had an overlay on top of it with notes. It
Ah.
says area behind rocks, slightly lighter, rocks darker. So production notes. This
Yeah.
is a painted piece underneath. It's GI Combat 173, still only 20 cents. So they were getting ready to change but it has an overlay with notes. And this is unique to the Adler collection. I've not seen another one like
Right.
it.
Ah.
You can still see through it
You
as the
can.
rocks coming down on the tank,
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that.
but you can see the notes that are on that
Mhm.
overlay that's just
Yeah.
taped on. We can
Mhm.
breathe easy now. We're beyond the range of enemy guns, and now they're getting ready to be crushed by
And there's rocks
rocks.
heading their way.
Uh-huh. Now,
Yeah.
after I bought this, I realized this is actually a redo of a cover from the 1950s. Had the
Right.
very same type theme back in the 1950s. This was kind of a Joe Kubert redo of a Strange Adventure story. But at this time, they were combining them into a large thing with 7 different startling stories in super science fiction.
Mm.
Gigantic, strange adventures. And
Mm.
this is number 227, where the guy is in this beaker and he's telling him to add more salt. He needs more salt. He's choking, he's suffocating.
That's a nice cover, that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I like that.
had different features in it. Adam Strange, the Atomic Knights,
That's right.
uh,
I remember them. I remember them.
DC Superstars of Space was one of the
Yeah.
first comics I ever bought. And it
Right.
had Adam Strange and the Atomic Knights by Murphy
Yeah.
Anderson. Um, and Murphy Anderson also did a lot of Adam Strange.
Mhm.
I'm sure Murphy Anderson inked a lot of Joe Kubert,
Mm.
especially the Hawkman stuff. Of course,
Yeah.
they both worked on Hawkman.
Mhm.
Um, but just different startling or out there sort of Twilight Zone stories or Outer
Yeah.
Limits type
Yeah.
stories
Yeah.
with a twist
Yeah.
were kind of featured at this time. And Strange, I think some of this was probably reprint material.
Yeah, I
And
think they did reprint some, didn't they, in the later ones?
yeah,
Later
and
issues.
especially those larger issues. In this case, cost you $0.25.
Yeah.
You know, if another book is going for 10 cents or 12 cents, then
Yeah,
you know that $0.25 is a lot more, but you get a lot more book, right?
absolutely.
We mentioned his Tarzan stuff and Tor stuff, which was kind of like in the Stone Age.
Hmm.
But he also did Rima, the Jungle Girl. This
That's
is
right.
issue. This is a approval cover. Uh, well, this one here was, I need to tell you, was an trimmed approval cover. The approval covers are just going to be blank on the back, and they're going to be
Right.
trimmed to the size of the comic.
Yeah.
But now the untrimmed is untrimmed, a little bit larger, and has the ads on the back and on the inside, front and back cover.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The approval will not. The approval is trimmed and it's blank on the back, like this Rima, the Jungle Girl, number 3. It really has that Johnny Quest type thing,
Yeah, I was
doesn't
just
it?
thinking that. I was just
The
thinking that.
natives.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have Rima there,
Yeah.
who is a female hero, female representation right here, way
That's
back
right.
in the mid 70s.
Yeah.
So they had strong female like Sheena,
Yeah, they did.
Jungle
That's right.
Queen,
Yeah.
you know, going way
there was
back.
there was a few.
Oh, there was a few, right?
Yeah.
And usually it was like jungle type thing, right?
Hmm.
Well, you had mentioned in your book Edgar Rice Burroughs' Tarzan.
Yeah.
Well, here's Edgar Rice Burroughs' Korak, Son of Tarzan. We also saw that. Number 54. Here's an approval cover to that.
Yeah.
Love the bubbles, the tendrils, dragging him down. He's got his knife there. Can he save his friend and himself?
Yeah.
All that for 20 cents. Of course, I started kind of late in the 25-cent era. So this would have been before my time. I would have never seen this on the stands. It was out way before.
I think you might need a drink of water there, Rex.
Well, I'm out of orange juice. So anyway, DC Star Spangled War Stories featuring the Unknown Soldier. This was an early story with the Unknown Soldier, issue 162. And it's 52 big pages. Don't take less. Only 25 cents.
I remember those.
Howard or Hero.
Yeah. I do remember that blurb for the 52-page ones.
And actually, I bought the Adler on eBay for the first appearance of Unknown Soldier for an Adler cover. But sadly, they just ripped me off and I never got it.
Oh.
Okay. So that happens. Now, excuse me. These next 3 pages are special. Here is Jack Adler himself holding a comic book with Robert, who I bought all this production artwork from.
Okay.
And there's Adler later in life at San Diego Con.
Yeah.
Back in the early 2000s, around 2006, I think. Holding a Son of Tomahawk issue and looking at it with Robert there, who bought all these great things from the Jack Adler estate while he was alive. And while he, after he passed away, he went to the house with a friend and they cleared out a lot of the collectibles from the family. Right. I hope to someday publish a book on Jack Adler. He's a little known figure, but he was the colorist on Action Comics #1.
Was he?
He was one of them. Yeah.
Right.
And he invented so much, putting photography on comic covers, partial
Yeah,
Photography.
partial photo covers, possibly. Yeah.
Well, here and again, see, my friend would buy pieces. This is a painted piece, the way he liked to buy them painted.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you trade in to get something better, right?
Yeah.
This is one that he traded in.
Ah.
So it went back to Robert. Well, Robert took it. And here it is in his hand. Son of Tomahawk that you're getting ready to see.
Yeah.
Before Adler signed it.
Right.
Because when my friend bought it, and he had it in Tennessee, it was unsigned. He traded it back to Robert, and Robert took it to a convention and got it signed by Jack Adler. So then I bought it. So now it's signed. And it's
Excellent.
signed kind of uniquely in ballpoint pen and not like
Felt tip.
this one. Huh?
Not like felt tip pen.
Yeah, he used like Sharpie
Marker pen.
on
Yeah.
most of them. There's his signature, and he'd put a little heart at Jack Adler.
Yeah.
But this one's unique. He signed it in ballpoint pen right there in the whited out area. This is hand painted stage of that one that he's holding in his hand.
Yeah.
Son of Tomahawk. But it had a story behind it. It's in a Mylar, so it's kind of shiny.
Yeah.
But you can see he signed it there.
Can you see that?
That's a Joe Kubert cover. He did a lot of those Son of Tomahawks. This is the hand painted, so it might be a little.
I like the sign.
And then here is the sometimes I have to look approval cover.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more defined because it's not hand painted.
Yeah.
So I not only have one stage of it, but I have the painted piece signed by the artist who painted it.
Yeah.
And the cover of him holding it while he was alive before he signed it with Robert, the guy I bought it from. So
nice
kind of a unique collection here.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep all that together.
Well, we're kind of running late here somewhat. We probably need to. My show is. Have you got anything else to show?
No, I must admit, I didn't have a great deal of Joe Kubert to hand, but we've not done so bad between us.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to get to next week, which this is one of the few silver tone. I'm not really. I need to bone up on the old process of printing because they don't do it. They do a lot of it by computers now.
I believe so. Yeah.
They don't do all this hand stuff that generally got scrapped and thrown away and forgotten about.
That's true.
And all collectors know are like the comic, the finished product.
Yeah.
This is a silver print, what they call a silver print. Now that's just another stage in the printing.
I mean,
it's got a rip here. So what they did is took a tack. You know what a tack is? And they tacked it up. And then at some point they ripped it down because this stuff wasn't valuable. But this is the king size special to Avengers #3. John Buscema artwork, and we'll be featuring him next week. There's the cover, one stage of the production of that, one of a kind item. You see that where they tacked it up and ripped it there in the middle.
Yeah,
World Color that I used to work for.
Right.
Printed a lot of Marvel's books. Now Sparta, Illinois, but did a lot of the DC stuff.
Yeah.
But we'll be featuring John Buscema next week.
I didn't realize it used to work for World Color, Rex.
World Color. It was first Renier. It was first Kruger, then Renier, and that's when I hired on. Became World Color while I worked there, and then it became Quervacore after I left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it went through, and now it's no longer even there.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt you earlier, but you said you to ask Dave if he had any of those early Spider-Mans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Steve,
can show you the oldest one I have.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see that.
It's 119.
Wow. John Romita Sr. cover. Yeah.
Yeah. I
can
used
tell.
to have that
120.
one.
And that's
I
a
used
John
to-
Romita Sr. Yeah.
I used to have those. Yeah.
And 128. Those are the three oldest ones I got. And they're
But
all in
did you buy
decent
them off the
condition.
stands?
They're all 8.0 or better.
Did you buy? Oh, those are nice. Did you buy those off the stands?
No. I had a friend,
No.
a collector, a local collector.
Oh, amazing.
We got some
Fantasy.
nice stuff from.
Is that number 2?
That's number 1. But I think
Number
it was
1. Okay.
I think it's a reprint though. I think it's a
Oh,
reprint.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
a facsimile edition. I didn't know they did those.
I don't think it's a facsimile edition. I think it's just a reprint that they did. Of
Reprint of older material, but
Yeah,
it's like 1966.
That's
I
right.
got you. Yeah, it was one of their early. That was the thing about Marvel. They reprinted some of their Atlas monster stuff
Yeah.
and other stuff that wasn't but a few years old. You know,
Steve
they
Ditko,
started reprinting quite early.
Kirby, yeah. You've
Yep,
got,
Steve Ditko, probably
Dick
Don
Ayers,
Heck.
Joey Sinnott, and Don Heck.
Yeah, I think I might have a copy of that.
Yeah,
But yours looks in better shape.
I just thought I'd throw it in, but there is a chunk missing at the bottom there.
Oh yeah, I see that now.
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe mine is in better shape.
Could be.
That's a great show, man.
Yeah,
Great show.
it's been interesting. Very interesting.
John Buscema next week.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of original Conan artwork from Savage Sword of Conan.
I shall have to dig out my John Buscema artist editions then.
There you go.
Yes, and I have a half penciled, half inked Bucky Barnes.
Oh.
You know, Captain America's sidekick done by him.
Yeah. Right.
And somewhere around here I have a Conan head, and I have the last artwork. I have some original artwork done on the last project that Gil Kane and John Buscema worked on.
Right.
How's that for a teaser? I have some of the last.
That sounds intriguing, Rex.
Gil Kane died on that project, and John Buscema died on that project.
Right.
And Kevin Nolan had to complete the project.
Right. Wow.
Is he still alive?
Kevin Nolan's still alive, but he's going to be dead at some point.
Making sure that shit wasn't cursed, bro.
I'm telling you, it was kind of jinxed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we shall cross our fingers that nobody else passes away in the next 7 days. Yeah.
No doubt, because then we have to do a rush job on tributes, and I'm all about tributes, but
yeah,
you know, if it's a lesser artist, we might. I don't know. You know, I mean, sometimes an artist brings them to your attention, right? When Tom Lyle passed away, who did Scarlet Spider, the design on Scarlet Spider, sort of the clone of Spider-Man character back in the 90s. I was on, I had some of his stuff in my collection, but I really didn't know who Tom Lyle was. Some of the people in CG worked with him and know him,
Right.
But really it was his death. And I'm like, well, Tom Lyle. And then it gets me to looking, well, who was this guy? Oh yeah, he did that and this. And, so sometimes their death brings their, if you're interested and look into it, can bring an artist.
I've learned quite a bit about Joe Kubert today that I didn't know. So
yeah, I mean, he's just one of those kids that wanted to be an artist, wanted to be a comic artist, but I mean, he got published at like age 16, 17.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Amazing.
I mean, we look at him as like a silver age, but think about it. He was a golden age artist. He was an atomic age in the 50s artist. He was a silver age artist. He was a bronze age artist. The 80s is called the Copper age. He did it all the way up to 2012. from like the 1930s to 2012.
That's
So
a
his
long
whole
time.
life was
Yeah.
in comics since like age
Yeah.
16, his whole life. And even before that, I'm sure he was drawing.
Quite an achievement.
Yeah, it really is a lifetime, a legacy. Not only that, the Joe Kubert School. You know, he established one of the few places and probably the earliest place you could study. And early on, they even had animation department, which was later phased out. I don't guess there was that much interest there, you know, for whatever reasons. It wasn't feasible, but they tried animation. They even had an animation to teach animation there. So
I'm getting a reflection on my glasses. So if I take them off, I can't see.
That's scary. Put them back on.
Put them back on. There you go. It sounds like the dogs are wanting a walk.
Oh, that 10 stage, I forgot. This came with the certificate of authenticity. I think it's our Army at War 233.
Oh,
so
right.
I think that goes with that 10 stage.
Yeah, don't lose that certificate. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not even sure I have that issue, but I'll have to get it. That's the thing. When I buy production artwork, I like to buy the book. So I've gotten some key books or semi-key books, just trying to match it up with the production art that I have. Like I bought the second appearance in Fantastic Four of Black Panther by Joe Kubert, and that was like a year before the movie come out. Well, that books went way up, you know. So I hit it at the right time to get a pretty good price to get a semi-key issue. I'd buy that for $1. Wait, you giving money away, are you?
Yeah. I saw something that looked like
I
a
saw
dollar.
the little sleight of hand, the little passage of money between the hands there. Have to get some ice cream or candy, probably.
That's it.
I want to go to the store.
Right.
If it's not the dogs, it's the kids, huh, Pops?
Yeah. It's
never ending.
It's Grandpa's life, brother. You know.
Yeah. But what a title, Grandpa.
Quite impressive, isn't it?
Hey, you know,
if you're not one, you don't know what it's like.
It keeps me young, bro.
I'm a grandpa. I'm an uncle. I'm a son of. Anyway.
Yes, I'm also an uncle a couple of times over myself. Yeah.
They're talking to you, Pops. Well, I Pops, before I forget, let me share a trailer that Good Stuff did for me, will you? Okay, it's a couple minutes long. I'm going to put it at the end and a shorter version at the front, but I want you to see.
I gotta go check on them, man. They're
okay.
One of them still tore up from the fight, and I gotta go check on them. You share it to me and talk for a minute, and I'll get it up there when I get back.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
See what you can do, Rex.
I had to jump back over. I had my first guest on yesterday on my show.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
I finally went through StreamYard instead of YouTube. And Shadowhawk Bax, who was in here in the chat today, he and Lorenzo Sleestack were guests of mine yesterday, and we talked over the hobby and stuff. And maybe sometime we can have you on, Dave, on my show. But I know it's all in the timing with you.
I just went up there and put Rocky outside, so I don't have to worry about another dog.
Okay. Well, everybody knows Good Stuff, hopefully. And Mrs. Good Stuff. Great people. He did this trailer for me. Like I say, it's a couple minutes long. But I hope you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Nope. No. Sounds a bit like status quo.
First appearance of Hawkman, Joe Kubert cover right there in the Silver Age. There's Joe Kubert, Andy Kubert, and Adam Kubert artwork that you showed in your book.
I think I've got that issue there. What reels? I remember those. Yeah, nice trailer.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, excellent.
Make a shorter version of that, like 30 seconds, so I could play it in my opening, you know.
Oh, great. Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Yeah. I'll have him cut it down or hit even further.
I'm looking forward to our little opening bit when we get it. You know, whatever it's going to be for the start of the show.
And next week will be Cromcom.
Yes, it is. And we'll be on, well, I'll be on at 5 UK time, and then I'll be back at 8:15 for our show, I believe.
Well, I've got about 10 minutes to let the dog out and get ready for my show. So,
okay. Right.
Yo,
time
we'll see you next week.
Time to depart, and I'll see you guys next week. Yeah.
That's Rex. That's Dave. This is the show off. Great show, guys. I will see you
next week. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Author Cindy Kep is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Kep at CKOEPP.com today.
Comic Books for Kids provides comic books to kids in hospitals and cancer centers across the U.S. It's a place where we can all work together to make sure every child has a comic book. 100% of all proceeds go towards the kids. It's about making a difference, and while they're in the hospital, allowing them to fly like a superhero, battle dragons, or rescue teddy bears. We are in every state in the country and now support over 160 hospitals. Every month, we add more.
Visit cb4k.org.
Don't forget, next weekend.
come.